And we are back as we continue our series conversations on COVID-19, and we are joined today by Mark Crames, the CEO of Demeter Fragrances, which has a facility in Selinsgrove. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's very good to be here. Thank you.
So how and when did Demeter get its start?
We started in 1996 with the purpose of creating an alternative to regular designer fragrances. So all our fragrances are inspired by real objects and experiences. And we really started out trying to capture the smells of nature. So the first three fragrances were dirt, grass, and tomato.
Interesting choices.
Yes.
So you also made a choice to locate your facility in Selinsgrove, and why was that?
Actually, I have to be honest. When my wife and I bought the company in 2002, the factory was already in Sunbury, and the people who know how to make this fragrance by hand were there. So there's a certain amount of skill involved. So we never thought about moving the factory until years later, and we just went across the river to Selinsgrove because we needed a larger facility.
Okay, so it's a fairly large facility that you're working at right now.
About 20,000 square feet. For what we do, it's decently sized.
Okay, and that is the only, besides your offices, which are outside of New York City, that's your only other facility?
Yes, that is the only place that we manufacture and ship from.
Okay, so how many employees are there?
At that facility right now, we're about 7 or 8. Normally, we're about 12 or 13.
Okay. So what do you normally make at that facility? You make the fragrances.
We make perfumes, colognes, perfume oils, lotions, all the things you would normally expect from a fragrance company.
Okay, and where do we see your products around here?
Yes, we have one of our customers is Boscov's. And of course, we just like to maintain a presence in the community anyway.
Now, do your products that are sold at Boscov's, are they under the name of Demeter Fragrances, or is there a different product name?
No, it's all Demeter fragrance. Each fragrance has its own name, so it could be baby powder or gin and tonic or dirt, but it's Demeter.
I'm going to have to go to Boscov's to look for this. So COVID came along, and that really screwed up not only our personal lives, but our business lives as well. So when did it become a factor for you guys?
Well, I think we felt it early because while in America we're primarily an online brand, we're distributed pretty heavily throughout Asia and Russia. And so we started to feel it as the Asian countries started shutting down early in February. So we were intellectually prepared for this. We were completely unprepared emotionally. And even knowing that it was coming, no idea, personal or business, how it was going to roll over us.
So how did it start to affect you business-wise with your products?
We stopped getting orders.
Oh, there you go. So go ahead.
2 of our biggest markets are Japan. 3 of our biggest markets are South Korea, China, and Japan. And those markets were closed to retail 4 to 6 weeks before we were. So we started seeing the impact before we started feeling it here.
So at some point in time, first off, since you're still operating, you're considered life-sustaining or an essential business here.
Well, I don't think that we were as a fragrance company, but we did what a lot of other bigger fragrance companies have been able to do. I haven't seen too many small ones like us. We're able to shift over to hand sanitizer and therefore became an essential operation and have been able to stay open.
Okay, and at what point, I imagine it was in the last 2-3 weeks that you made that switch to hand sanitizer, or at least decided to?
We literally started selling sanitizer 2 weeks ago today, and we only came up with the idea 10 days earlier. We really put all our resources against this and did it in record time. We realized that we had a very unique asset in these times, which is an alcohol license. And that allowed us to both maybe take care of ourselves and take care of a lot of other people at the same time.
So what all was involved in making the switch from making colognes, perfumes, to making hand sanitizer?
Well, typically when you would make a sanitizer, it's an inexpensive product. You want the packaging to be inexpensive, and the cost is really what goes inside of it. We didn't have that option because, quite frankly, the supply chain is broken right now. It's not easy for any business to get any material that it needs. So we played MacGyver and put together all the pieces out of the things that we had to make hand sanitizer. And we did have to scrape up a couple of ingredients we don't own. And there was interstate driving involved and other things. And we, because everything's out of whack right now. The other day, literally, I think it was Tuesday, I had to pick up 1,000 pieces of glass in New York and drive it down to Pennsylvania so we could make more sanitizer. And I'm doing the same thing again on Monday.
So from a production standpoint and manufacturing standpoint, did you already have the equipment on site to make stuff like that?
I had the right equipment. The bigger problem for us was packaging and labeling and certain ingredients. So we had the key ingredient, which is the alcohol, and we had the key machinery, which is a semi-automatic alcohol filler. We had to fill in all the blanks from that, including the fact that this is an FDA product. So we had to upgrade the factory to OTC compliance. Fortunately, we were already compliant, so we only actually had to go through the registration process.
And you did that all in 10 days?
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
I had a lot of help. This was not me. This was every person across a small family-run organization.
So
half of the people who work for us are family members, and everybody in this company has worked tirelessly to make this happen.
So you're selling your hand sanitizer, but you're also giving it away as well, from what I understand?
As much as we can. We're trying to cover as many of the first responders locally as we can. So we've taken care at this point of the Selinsgrove police, the state police precinct, the post offices, Snyder County Jail, and the Selinsgrove Center, which was particularly important to me. I think a lot of people don't really know what that is, but there's hundreds of developmentally disabled adults that live there in very close quarters with limited understanding sometimes of what the situation is. And we felt it was very important that everyone there be protected.
So how much hand sanitizer have you made up to this point?
We've made probably about 5,000 pieces and probably given away 1,000 of those.
Okay, and how much do you think you'll be able to churn out?
We were fortunately just able to locate some material, so I'm pretty comfortable that at least into the middle of May, we're going to be able to get everyone what they need.
Okay. So the interesting thing that we've been asking people as we get to the end of these segments is how you're dealing with the situation personally. And for you, it's a little different because you're right outside of New York City. You're basically in the epicenter of this, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And it's been, because I'm in the epicenter, the truth is I don't go out. Literally outside of the couple of trips that I've made in the last 2 weeks to deliver material to the factory because we couldn't get anyone else to do it, I don't go anywhere. So I see on television exactly what you guys see. One difference is I do have 3 children living in Manhattan right now, one of which who is recovering or recovered from COVID-19. So it struck very close to home, and I think that's true for almost every New York family. Everybody knows somebody who's been sick.
Well, that's very scary for you as a parent, isn't it?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Were they able to?
It's over.
Go ahead.
It's over now, and he's well, but it was absolutely terrifying.
And it was a situation where you probably couldn't go see him, could you?
No, we have now been able to see him. My wife and I drive in and deliver food and talk to him through the car. But it was that was one of the hardest parts, was not being, as a parent, simply not being able to be there.
Mm-hmm. And otherwise, everything is pretty much shut down there, isn't it?
Completely. You drive through Manhattan and it looks like a dystopian movie.
Did your son have to go to the hospital at all for it?
No, we were very fortunate that his symptoms were not that bad and he was able to ride it out at home.
Okay.
3 very, very difficult, scary days.
I'm sure. I can't imagine what that was like. So great to hear that the company's doing well with this initiative, and local employees are playing a role in this as well. And I hope everything works out for you in the future here, Mark.
Thanks very much. Right now, we are just very, very happy to be able to help our first responders and help people get a product they really need that they can't find, which for us is nice. We usually spend our time convincing you that you need something that we like. Now we get to give you something that you need. And just helping to keep everybody safe is great.
Great message, Mark. Thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thanks so much.
And that'll do it for this episode of Conversations on COVID-19, a special series of In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Chris O'Rourke. Stay safe out there, everyone.